Today, let's dive into something that really changes the game when it comes to writing. It's a way of thinking that turns writing from a chore into a real craft. We're going to talk about how to write like a reader.
You know that feeling, right? You're slogging through an email or a report, and yeah, there are words on the page, but the meaning is just gone. It feels like you're trying to find your way through a thick jungle of words with no path. It's super frustrating, and it's a huge red flag that the writer forgot about the most important person in the whole equation. You, the reader.
So, the fix isn't just about memorizing more comma rules. It's about a total shift in how we see writing itself. It's about getting that great writing is never, ever an accident. It's built intentionally, piece by piece, always thinking about the person who's going to read it. It's a craft, and just like any other craft, it's something that can absolutely be taught.
Okay, so what does this shift actually look like? Well, it all starts by getting past the idea that writing is just about putting words on a page. We have to move into a much more thoughtful, intentional way of thinking. This right here really gets to the heart of it. The old way of thinking was just about output, wasn't it? Did you get the words down? Did you follow the rules? But that whole approach kind of misses the entire point of writing, which is to connect with someone. The new way is all about crafting an experience for the reader. So instead of just listing facts, you're actually shaping what those facts mean. And instead of just following a checklist, you're making deliberate choices to take your reader on a journey.
And this whole new approach has a name. It's called the reader-writer mindset. And it's actually the big idea behind new educational standards that are trying to create better communicators from day one.
All right, here's the official definition from the Georgia Department of Education Standards. I know, it sounds a little academic, but the idea behind it is actually really simple and pretty powerful. It's all about building a piece of writing by always thinking about who's going to read it and why. The big takeaway is this. Every single choice a writer makes, from one little word to the whole structure, is a conscious decision based on who their audience is and what they're trying to accomplish.
And what's really important here is that this isn't some checklist you use after you're done writing to edit. No, this is a mindset that shapes the entire process before you even type a single word. It's all about being strategic from the get-go.
And really, it all boils down to these three huge questions. First, who am I actually talking to? Are they experts, or are they brand new to this? Are they my friends, or are they total strangers? Second, what do I want to have happen? Am I trying to teach them something, convince them of something, or just make them laugh? And finally, once I know that, then I can ask, okay, what are the best tools, the best words, the best sentences, the best format to get that job?
So what are these tools we're talking about? This is where we get to open up the author's toolkit and see the specific techniques writers learn to use.
When you have this mindset, writing stops being random and starts being a series of smart, strategic decisions. It's just like a coach drawing up a game plan before a big match. The writer is planning every move to get a specific result with their audience. So based on this standard, students are literally learning how to be intentional. They learn to pick elements that will actually appeal to their reader, to choose words that will influence how the reader thinks and feels, to build their sentences on purpose, and to organize the whole thing in a way that best serves their goal. This approach also gives students a shared vocabulary to talk about their craft. So they learn about diction, which is really just about finding that one perfect word. They learn about syntax, which is how you build sentences. Are they short and punchy or long and complex? They learn to control tone, that's the attitude or the feeling behind the words. And they practice using expository techniques, which are basically just the practical tools you use to make a complicated idea super clear. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in a real classroom with real kids? Well, let's check out a perfect example, the volcano lesson. And yes, you heard that right. This kind of thinking starts as early as kindergarten and first grade. We're about to see how a teacher guides these really young students to think like pros while they're learning about, of all things, volcanoes. So check this out. The lesson doesn't start with facts about lava. It starts with this exact question. The teacher immediately puts audience and purpose right at the center of the whole project. That's the foundation. And the kids totally get it. Their audience, the class next door. Their purpose? To teach them about volcanoes. Boom. Right away, they have a crystal clear mission. They're not just writing into the void. They're creating something for real people with a real goal.
So once the who and the why are sorted, the teacher pivots to the how. She points them to their alpha box, which is basically just a collection of cool, topic-specific words they've gathered. Her question brilliantly connects their vocabulary tool directly to their audience's need to understand. And here are some of those words. See, They're not just facts, they're powerful descriptive words that were chosen specifically to help the kids next door actually picture a volcano. The students are learning that choosing a word like fiery instead of just hot makes their writing better for their reader. That's the whole game.
So, what's the big picture here? Why does a lesson about volcanoes for a bunch of 7-year-olds actually matter? Well, because this is about building something way, way bigger than just a school project. It's about developing one of the most essential skills you can have in life: clear, thoughtful, and effective communication. This is about being able to organize your thoughts, shape a message that lands, and ultimately build a real connection with another person. And this skill goes way beyond the classroom. The kid who learns to write for the class next door becomes the adult who can write that persuasive email to their boss, that clear project proposal to a client, or that heartfelt letter to someone they care about. The core questions are always the same: who is my audience and what is my purpose?
But honestly, at its deepest level, writing like a reader is really an exercise in empathy. It forces you, the writer, to constantly step outside of your own head and into someone else's. It makes you think about their questions, where they might get confused, what they need from you. It is literally the practice of seeing the world from someone else's point of view.
And that leaves us with one last, pretty big question. If we can teach a whole generation to communicate, not just so they can be heard, but so they can be truly understood, what would that world look like? What changes when our conversations, our emails, our everything are built on a foundation of empathy? That's definitely something we're thinking about.